All right, welcome back. You are watching To The Point on TV47 Weekend Edition. Thank you for staying with us. Our conversation tonight is about albinism. Now, if you're just joining as well, this is an inherited condition that leads to someone having very light skin, hair, and eyes. It happens because they have less melanin than usual in the body. Of course, we've tackled so much, but right now I want us to take a look at the legal rights and protections available for the people living with albinism. At the very beginning, we have a right to equality and non-discrimination. That is in Article 27 of the Kenyan Constitution, which prohibits discrimination on various grounds, including race, sex, disability, which extends just very much to the people living with a disability. We also have right to humanity, and at that to human dignity. We have right to life. And we have Persons with the Disability Act 2003, which basically just ensures that they have equal employment opportunities, access to public services, education, protection from violence or harm. Let me just pause it here at the Persons with Disability Act 2003. Dan, do you think that the people living with albinism have equal opportunities when it comes to employment, education? What's your take on it?
On my side, I can say that we are still behind. When I say we are still behind, is that when you go to look for a job, first of all, person will look at your condition, will not look at your ability. Will just look at your condition and dismiss you. So we are still behind in terms of job opportunity. When you look at education, we are also behind because as Albinism Society of Kenya, we have gotten some cases whereby children with albinism have not been accepted to certain schools because they have albinism. And you find it difficult for this child to get education. So we are still, yes.
All right, Brenda, that is so unfortunate, but how do you assess the current policies available for the people with albinism? What gaps do you think should be filled?
I think there's a lot of ignorance in this society, and sometimes you expect that maybe the people you expect to have knowledge about albinism and also other disabilities have none. You'd maybe assume that a doctor has knowledge about maybe the treatment of a person with disability, but most of them don't even have an idea what albinism is all about. Yeah, and you go there, you expect that this person has knowledge, you're going to be taken care of just because this person is a doctor, but you find the opposite. Talking about schools also, most of the teachers are not aware about albinism and also other disabilities. So we still have to do a lot of sensitization, and that's what we are working on.
Right.
Yeah, because awareness never stops. Yeah.
All right, we also have something here under the legal rights and protection by the Albinism Society of Kenya, where you work, Dan. And it says it's a key advocacy organization working to protect and promote rights of people with albinism in Kenya. What have been your milestones so far, Dan?
Yeah, through our chair, Honorable Isaac Mwaura, a lot has been happened. If you can recall, in 2015, whereby there were children who are with albinism who were to be sold in Tanzania, and through Albinism Society of Kenya, we were able to get the children back, and the case was taken to the police. But because there are no laws that protect persons with the albinism, the case didn't go far. So there is still a lot on policy making that we need to work on. And also through Honorable Isaac Mwaura, there is this guy called Muhwana, who was also kidnapped and was taken to Tanzania in terms of getting a job there. But it was so unfortunate. He didn't get a job. It was just the way of taking him there to be sold there. But we thank by then Honorable Eugene Wamalwa, because this boy was from his county when he was still the MP. They were able to follow up the case and brought this guy back. So there are so many cases that concern persons with albinism but have been brought to the court, but because there are no grounds on legal matters, you find that those cases just die like that. Yeah.
So Dan, are you working towards having these laws put in place to protect those living with albinism? We have something here also that says in the legal rights and protection that protection from violence and harm, like you've mentioned, what I understand from what you're saying, people with albinism often face harm, violence, being sold outside the country. So what are you doing to ensure that you set up maybe a legal framework to ensure that you are protected?
Yeah, we are working together with Kenya Human Rights to ensure that we come up with a policy that can help persons with the albinism, that when this case goes to court, they are able to get their justice. So we are still working around that. Yes.
All right, Daktari, now let me bring you in. That was a bit heated.
Yeah.
Now, you know what somebody might be asking. We've said that albinism is inherited genetically, right? But maybe somebody is wondering, somebody's just joined us right now and is wondering what really causes it. Apart from the genetically being inherited, is there a cause for albinism?
It's a recessive gene. So it's not something that you get as a result of, it's hereditary. It's not something that you get out of, acquired after you're born. Yeah. Most of the time, people living with actually 100% of them are born with it. The only few changes that happen with some of them is the color of the hair can change along the way. Maybe it was white when they were born, but along the way it can turn to yellow. It's an hereditary disease. It's an hereditary condition. Sorry, I apologize. I apologize. So yes, it's an hereditary condition and it's a recessive gene. So yes, either of the parents can be carriers of the condition, maybe or both. So testing for parents before having children would be important for them. Yes.
All right, Brenda, what are some of the myths and misconceptions that you've had around albinism growing up or even now?
Oh, there are so many, but I'll mention a few. There's the common one that persons with, by the way, I'd like to emphasize on this that we like being called persons with albinism, not persons living with albinism, because it is a condition, it is not a disease. And also when it comes to disability, also persons with disability, not living with disability. Okay, the most common one is that persons with albinism don't die, they get lost. They get lost, they just vanish. And then there's this one that if you happen to maybe be intimate with a lady with albinism, if you're affected by HIV and AIDS, you might get some cure. If you maybe have a part of the body for a person with albinism, and take it maybe to this ritualist, you get wealthy. There are many that when you touch our skin, you come out with the color. So you'll find some children along the roadside, maybe trying to just, yeah. But for me, I think it's just sensitization and also acceptance. That is what we want is acceptance. That is what I keep on preaching. We don't want pity. We just want acceptance. And for us to be accepted, we also have to accept ourselves for who we are as persons with albinism.
Dan was saying something very interesting, Brenda, that getting employment opportunities as persons with albinism has been quite hard. Would you say that has been the case for you?
Yeah, in some situations, yes. It's not even about employment. It's also sometimes even, let's say you're self-employed and people come and look at your condition, your albinism, instead of looking at the potential in you. You go somewhere, you're looking for a job, you have the qualifications, and someone is busy looking at your condition instead of trying to see whether you can deliver or not. So that is something that has affected not only persons with disability, albinism, but persons with disability. Yeah. So what we want is acceptance. We have brains. We can be doctors. We can be good wives. We can be good girlfriends. We can be everything.
Yes.
Yeah. So it's up to the society and also us. To accept the fact that we are here and we're not going anywhere. And by the way, albinism is very interesting. It's in plants, it's in animals. So there's no way you're going to say that hawa wazungu wako hapa. No. You can see God is very mysterious. He also put it in plants and animals. Yeah.
All right, before I bring you, Dan, in on the myths and misconceptions that you have encountered in your journey or in these years of life, Dr. Brenda has mentioned something quite interesting, that albinism is also found in animals. Is it the same case, the way they live with it? Do animals also live the same way with it?
For animals, it's a bit different because, for instance, if it's a domestic animal, what much can you do about it in terms of taking care of their skin?
Is that treatment plan for animals?
I wouldn't say much about animals because I'm not a veterinary doctor.
Out of curiosity.
Yeah, because if they have fur on their body, then the fur would protect them. That's what I'm thinking from UV rays.
Yeah.
But I don't want to speak so much about animals that I don't know.
I understand. We
Yes.
understand. Now, Dan, bring us on. The myths and misconceptions that you've been told, what you've had, what are they?
The way Brenda has said, that persons with albinism don't die, they vanish. And the reason why this is because you would find in a village, there is one person with albinism. So deaths were rare for persons with albinism. So they were like, no, you can't get a person with albinism who has died. But again, you'll find that in certain areas, there could be a person with albinism, a child with albinism, but then you find that that child is nowhere to be seen because the family had sold this child. So the child is nowhere to be seen. So that myth that they vanish, it was like, okay, the child has vanished. He or she is nowhere to be seen. And then there is this whereby that if you are a lady and someone who has HIV sleeps with you, you are cured of that AIDS. And it was just a matter of people putting into their mind that maybe this can be medicine. And also body parts. And that is why you find that in Tanzania, there are so many killings of persons with albinism during elections time that when you take this person with albinism to Tanzania and you do some ritual, then automatic you are going to win.
To win.
Yes.
Does it work?
it doesn't. It doesn't.
If it did, then maybe we would have gotten very many opportunities.
Yes.
I'll just need to cut my finger. Or maybe, yeah, maybe it would have been rich, right? Yeah.
Okay. Now let's take a look at the prevalence, the numbers, what we have. We have Tanzania, where approximately 1 in 1,400 people have albinism, and estimated 46,000 people live with the condition. Tanzania is the highest. Do you agree, Dan?
Yes, I do agree. Tanzania is the highest.
They have the highest, but you say a lot of children are being sold in Tanzania. Does it add to the number that they already have, or they are the highest in number because of children being sold at Tanzania?
They add the number to what they have, and because Tanzania has that higher number, so when a child in Kenya is taken there, it won't be, the child won't be identified that is from Kenya. So that is why they have that higher number.
All right.
Yes.
We have in Zimbabwe approximately 1 in 1,000 people. 15,000 individuals are estimated to be living with this condition, having this condition. We have Kenya, where approximately 1 in 5,000 people and 11,000 individuals are estimated to have albinism. Do you agree with this data in Kenya?
On my side,
Yes.
I'll say that I don't agree, because when you look at the census 2019,
Right.
there was that question of albinism, but enumerators didn't ask that question. Most persons with albinism were never asked that question. And also, you know, when we say albinism, it is in general. And as we have said that we have rufous albinism, whereby you can't be able to identify whether this person has that albinism. So I feel like the bigger number of persons with albinism were left behind. And as Albinism Society of Kenya, we are trying to work around with the National Kenya Bureau of Statistics to do what we call a demographic on albinism, to get exact number for persons with albinism. Yes.
This is a research done by International Federation of the Red Cross and Red Crescent Societies, by the way, on people with albinism. Now, Dr. let me just bring you in once again. Would you say that there is the way, those with melanin, people like us, we age differently from people with albinism?
Depending on how they are taking, they are protecting their skin. I wouldn't say because you have you're living with albinism, you'll age faster, as long as you're taking care of your skin like it should. You're doing those regular hospital visits. Yes, there's a risk of getting basal cell carcinomas and those cancers of the skin because of the exposure to UV rays, because sometimes the affordability of sunscreen can be a challenge for most, because most sunscreens are quite expensive. So living with albinism doesn't make you age faster than people with melanin, as long as you're doing the right things in terms of taking care of your skin, in terms of UV protection, using a broad spectrum sunscreen, and then also in terms of wearing wide brim hats, and those many things that Dan has discussed about, using an umbrella every time they're going out in the sun. Yes, it doesn't interfere with how they age, as long as the skin is well taken care of.
Awesome.
Yes. And they're intelligent people. There's something we need to do, educate people about. These people are the same as any other human being in terms of their intelligence. Their ability to perform at workplace is the same as, they are even able to bring better, like you can never use their skin color to determine their intelligence. It's not related. Yes.
All right, let's take a look at, by the way, this 2024 theme was for the International Day for Albinism. That was in June. And this year's theme was a decade of collective progress. And according to the UN, they were inviting the world, rather, to reflect on the continued legal, policy, and practical changes still required to ensure the full and equal enjoyment of rights by persons with albinism. A decade of collective progress. Brenda, would you say you have made progress?
A little bit of progress. And like I said, there's still a lot of sensitization that has to be done. And we won't relax. We won't stay put. We want to make sure that even if there are other children with albinism born in the years to come, they're able to live a comfortable life. They're able to have equal opportunities when it comes to employment. They are able to enjoy their reproductive health rights, right? Because we are also entitled to that. We are also entitled to conjugal rights. We are also entitled to a good sex life, productivity at large. So we are still fighting and we won't stop. Struggle is real, but we're not keeping quiet about it. Even if we have to go to the streets for you guys to know that we are there, we are going to go. We want employment, we want equal treatment, we want love, we want it all. Personally, I want it all.
Awesome. Brenda has said so much. I hope that also serves as your parting shot. But now done, do you think you have made progress in line with the 2024 theme for the International Day of those with albinism, a decade of collective progress?
Yes and no. Yes, because we have been able to come out as persons with albinism, and people outside there have known us now. When I compare 10, 20 years back, then when I would go to a matatu and sit in a matatu and no one would want to sit next to me. And right now, I can sit to a matatu and someone would even leave another seat and come sit next to me. That's a progress. Another one is, like right now, you have called us. We are creating awareness. Let you continue calling us so that the world may know about albinism. Like my sister has said about social life, we need to be in that social life like any other person. We need our voices to be heard. We need to be, the way politicians say that we need to be on the table, we also need to be on the table. When decisions are being made, also as persons with albinism, we need to voice our voices so that we may be heard. For instance, we are talking about sunscreen lotions we do get from the government, and it is like 10 years back when some money, 100 million shillings were allocated for persons with albinism. And since then up to now, the number has risen, but the capitation is still the same. So we are urging the government of Kenya to look into this, because we are not where we were by then. We have improved, because by then they were talking of 3,000 persons with albinism, and now we are more than 10,000, you see, and we are still having the same allocation that we were given by then. So we are still not yet there.
Awesome. Daktari, your parting shot before we close in 1 minute.
Yes, I would like to say that under the Ministry of Health, we have clinics running in most of the level 4 hospitals. that handle, we have albinism clinics where they come for examination because they need regular
checkups.
Yes, clinical examinations of their skin, and also free sunscreen. Is that right? Yeah, free sunscreens from those level 4 and level 5 hospitals. So anyone living with albinism and they're not able to access healthcare, they can always move to any level 4, level 3, level 4, level 5 hospitals, and they will find that clinic running in most of those facilities. Yes.
All right. Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen, for making time tonight to grace To The Point. This has been a very insightful topic, and of course, the call to the government and all stakeholders is for the people with albinism to have a seat at the table and more equal opportunities and rights. That's it for To The Point tonight. Thank you so much for watching, for being here. We do appreciate you. My name is Anne Odida. Do have a wonderful night and see you next time, inshallah.